I'm Regina McCann-Hess, President of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today we have another new friend with us, and I'm really excited for her to tell us all about her unique abilities. Very jealous of all her capabilities as well. So Stephanie, do you want to tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Sure. Hello. First of all, thank you for having me this morning. I'm so
Oh,
excited to chat with you today.
I
And
appreciate you coming on.
yes, well, for everyone watching, my name is Stephanie Ann Ball, and I am a high performance specialist. And that means that I work with people who are struggling with things like overwhelm and stress and low productivity and lack of focus and all of those things that can really keep you kind of stuck and hold you back from accomplishing your goals and excelling at work and missing out on time with friends and family. I help people build tools and resources to make sure they can get everything done and have room to relax.
Wow. Wow. I couldn't even, it would take me hours just to think about half of that stuff. So you are definitely, sounds like a miracle worker for some people. And so tell us about, you're working with, so tell us about some of the people that you work with, the types of people, what types of careers, who could utilize your services best.
Yes, so I have found that I really love working with people who have a little bit of creativity in their brain. Not necessarily they work in a creative job, but they just think about things in a creative way, because I'm also a creative. We'll get into this later, but my background is in music. And so I understand how we creative folks can sometimes rapid fire thinking of all kinds of different projects and then get stuck in analysis paralysis and not actually get anything done. So I know that type very well. And my favorite clients have been people who have that kind of creative programming running in the background, but also work in high pressure careers. So people like doctors, lawyers, therapists, anything where you have to fit into time constraints with deadlines, or you have to be up in front of people speaking. I get a lot of entrepreneur types who have to spin a bunch of plates and do a whole bunch of things on their own. Those are my favorite types of folks to work with.
Wow, that's great. And I can imagine you can help people just guide through their day in a much better way to help them for their overall goals.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Now, I know I know you also have another gift, and you have to tell our friends about your gift because it's just so amazing to me.
Yes, so I have this sort of double life, dual life happening. I'm also a professional opera singer. My background is in music. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in vocal performance, and I've been singing professional in the classical world for about 10 years now.
I,
So
I'm I'm trying not to laugh, but you're just like off the cuff. I'm an opera singer, a professional opera singer. Yeah, I do it. You know.
it's
Wow,
funny.
wow.
I mean, because I know so many, so
Oh
in
yeah.
my it's like, oh, yeah, there's plenty of us. We're everywhere, but that's not the case for everyone, I suppose.
No, and I'm so impressed. I'm loving that I've gotten to meet you and get to know you a little bit better. And now I'm going to be like, okay, next time I go to see the chorus or the opera, I'm going to be like, oh, is she here?
Yeah, you might see me up there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. So, how do you like with music and your organizational mode, your other business? Um, how has being a professional woman, has that been a challenge in those fields, or is it, mostly women? How do you work within the field?
So my skill set actually lends itself very well to working with women,
Mhm.
just because when I started doing this kind of work, I noticed there was a bit of a gap. There are some tons of high performance specialists out there and all kinds of books on how to get yourself organized and how to be more productive and how to make good use of your time. But I noticed that it was a little bit, geared towards that do more, get more done and work harder. And it just, nothing that I found really took into account the extra emotional labor that women have to do. And especially right now, my goodness, with all of this extra stress and overwhelm that we're all experiencing collectively, I really wanted to find a way to address those specific concerns and make sure that women knew, okay, so there's nothing wrong with you. You are not the problem here. We just need to look at all the things that you're responsible for and rearrange them and make sure we build in time for you to rest and take care of yourself, because that's really the critical thing. And I just didn't think there was enough of that. So that is how I built my programming around a specific type of person I wanted to serve.
Yeah, that's impressive too, because I mean, speaking for myself and many other women, by the time we get to our day jobs, we've
Mhm.
already done our other job. At home, we've had to get everybody up, ready, lunch is made, out the door, and then we finally get to work and we're like, oh, wait a minute, I haven't had my tea or coffee yet. Wait, what about me? So, so we've already had a lot accomplished by the time we even get to the office.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's pretty impressive. So how about the pandemic with the way you've had to pivot to be able to deliver what you're delivering as far as adding value and being able to work with people throughout this? How's that been for you?
Thank you. Yes. For me, I've actually been pretty fortunate because I've been doing a lot of virtual work for a long time because my singing schedule was such that I was on the road a lot. So I was working with students and clients via Zoom and via Skype, years ago. But really, what the pandemic did for me was it gave me time to stop and pause and stop traveling so much and rework how I was delivering everything and rework some of my content and get some new tools out because I just saw everybody, so stressed out all the time. I thought, okay, well, now I definitely need to rework some of this stuff so I'm getting the self-care stuff at the front of the unit. And I have to absolutely make sure I follow my own rules as well. I sometimes forget to do that. So that's been how it has been helpful for me, is looking at those things and finding ways to connect with people online and just checking in with people more via Facebook Messenger and LinkedIn Messenger and making sure that I am walking the talk and giving back in a bigger and a better way.
That's fantastic. And it sounds like that pivot you were kind of already doing a lot online and you'll continue to do that even beyond the pandemic, and which, like you said, with your travel schedule, it could open you up for more, trying to do some other shows that you maybe not have done in the past, or, just trying out for other types of casting.
Yeah, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We're not sure what the performance industry is going to look like on the other side of this.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's true. I forgot about that side of it. Yeah. Well, everybody is hoping, my kids ask me all the time, like, well, when can we go see a show? We had, for Christmas this year, I had bought us tickets to see Les Mis in Philadelphia, but
yeah,
it was going to be their first, like, officially Broadway show. And they were really excited about it, and obviously didn't happen. And we're like, all right, well, maybe they'll reschedule. They said they would. And now they're even ratcheting it up a bit, saying, okay, well then, when New York Broadway is back, can we pick a show to go see in New York too? And I'm like, well, yeah.
yes,
Why would I say no to that? So we are desperately waiting for that, for that green light, and obviously it'll be quite a while before that happens. But don't give up hope on that. The world has, or at least Americans, I think, well, I should just speak for myself here. We have short-term memories. The pain stays and we don't let go of that, but we're creatures of habit and we want to get back to what our normal was. And granted, it may take a while, but once we're back to that normal, the pain will cease a little bit from what we're living through right now, and hopefully in a couple of years we'll be looking back on this and just saying, it'll be a story we tell our grandkids about, and everybody that we could come in contact will just have their story about this whole pandemic thing, but
yes.
we'll still be able to live our lives to some semblance of what we were used to.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that is, as an artist, that's so encouraging to hear because in this world, we're always hearing this program's getting cut and that program's getting cut and this theater's underfunded. So sometimes it does feel like people don't need us. But whenever we go through something as a nation, the arts are the first thing that people turn to for healing. And
Mm-hmm.
It's so lovely to hear how much people miss us.
Oh,
So
absolutely. I think that is one of the first things that will um, people will sign up for, buy tickets for, because it's kind of like having chicken soup in the winter when you don't feel so good, and some crackers. It's just that comfort food. I think the theater and the living arts are also that comfort to American lifestyle and what we've become accustomed to, and having those arts in our lives. And wait a minute, you know what? Don't you have a book coming out?
I do. As a matter of fact, the book is out.
Holy cow. Well, wait a minute. Tell us about the book. Tell us about the title, where we can find.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Okay. You just
yeah.
are a plethora of yummy stuff.
I'm all full of surprises. Yes, the book was another surprise. Um, I started writing it about a year ago, last September, and all because I needed to find a way to bridge my two worlds. I always have people telling me, okay, so you do all of this consulting and you do this high performance work and productivity that's an organization that. What in the world does classical singing have to do with that? How did you get into this field? How do you make them work together? How do you balance everything? And so I finally said, well, maybe I should write it down and put it into a book. And that was very scary for me. So I ignored that idea for a long time. And finally, last year, I said, okay, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it now or it's never going to get done. And so I wrote the book, and it's called Own Your Light, Becoming Your Favorite Self So You Can Bring your best to the world. And that's because in the theater, when you work in the theater, there's this thing that you have to do when you get on stage. There's a big tech rehearsal where you have to walk out on stage and literally feel where the light is hitting you and move yourself into it, because that is the only way that the audience can see you.
Oh, wow.
And I said, and I thought, that's sort of true for everybody, regardless of what industry you're in. If you do not get really good at what you do and find a way to step out and give it to the people who need you, nobody's gonna take what you have. And people out there need it. Everybody has something to offer the world, and the best way to do that is to put yourself out there. So that is the through line that I use to connect the dots. And I'm just so thrilled. It's gotten a really good response. It came out in June, and I'm so happy with it.
I love it. So where do we find the book?
You can find it on Amazon, and if you go to ownyourlightbook.com, it gives you all the information for where to get it.
Oh, that's exciting. So exciting. I'm gonna have to go check it out. That's
Yeah.
very cool. I mean, like, and you wrote a book that quickly. I
Mhm.
can imagine if I tried to do something like that, it would take me 10 years and it would never get done. It would never get done. I'd be like, oh, I'll get to that. But then you would have to come in my life and organize me to write the book. So,
Yes, see, that's the thing. I had some help. I hired somebody to help make sure I was writing every week, so that was the best decision that I ever made.
smart, smart. Okay. So we're still in a cloud as to, to what's going to happen on the other side of the pandemic. But do you see how you do things? Will it change on the other side of it, or you kind of already been doing a lot of the online things? You'll continue with that because that gives you all that extra time, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
My hope is that once we do have a shift and we're able to gather in person again, then I'll be able to do more in-person workshops and in-person speaking events, because I think that there's something magical when you get a group together and everyone's working towards the same thing. So I cannot wait for that to come back.
Yeah, and you did do a lot of public speaking events, didn't you?
I
Yeah.
did.
How often were you out doing a public speaking event?
Oh gosh, it was this kind of funny cycle where for a while I would do a show and then I would go do a speaking engagement or a panel or something, and then I would go work with a client across the country, and just sort of repeated that
Oh,
phrase
okay.
every several months. So it's kind of a funny hybrid when you're working in two different
Yeah,
industries.
yeah. And that's actually a big segment of people who go to the conferences. I know my annual conference was obviously canceled, but we're doing it virtually this week.
Mhm.
But they have numerous speakers who normally come into this event, and they basically just kept the keynote speakers, which are so impressive. I am so excited. But But normally there's a whole bunch of other speakers. So they lost those, those jobs for the event. And I can imagine all the other types of speakers who come to those types of events also are, learning how to pivot themselves. And some of them are doing webinars online and things like that. But it's definitely a challenge for them as well.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And it's always great to have someone do an inspirational talk at any kind of event that you go to, because you just walk away, you feel, feeling your light, you get motivated, you feel your light. So that's pretty exciting.
Mhm.
So what's next for you?
Well, next I have a whole new array of coaching programs that I'm rolling out right after Labor Day that I am just thrilled about. Um, like I said, I was retooling all of my coaching content and I wanted to line it up with the content in the book more. So I have one, two, three courses coming out, three online courses coming out that can be paired with individual coaching with me that are launching on September 7th. And I cannot wait to fill it up with people because
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled about all these tools. And I know it's stuff that people really need right now. We're in this space where it feels like we simultaneously have a ton of time and no time at all. And that is making it very difficult to get things done with any small amount of sanity. So I'm just ready to get out there and help some people do what they do best.
Oh, that's spectacular. Okay, so if people want to find a link, or how do they sign up for those classes? Tell us how they find you for those people.
Yes, if you want to find me, best way is to go to my website, stephanieannballconsulting.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Stephanie Ann Ball Consulting and on LinkedIn at I am Steph A. Ball.
Spectacular. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a guest on our show.
Oh,
I'm
you're
so honored to have you. You're my only orchestra or opera singer that I know. So I get to say, I know an opera singer.
welcome. Thank
Um,
you for having me. This has been delightful. It's been a lot of fun to talk with you.
oh, good, good. Well, I'm going to have you back again at some point and find out more about what goes on behind the scenes and
Oh, yeah.
on the other side. And then we can do another set. But I want to thank everybody else for watching our show. We really appreciate everybody tuning in every week for our Women in Wealth series. And again, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. Our website is forgewealth.com, and you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Forge Wealth. And on LinkedIn, I'm Regina McCann-Hess. Thanks, and we will see you next week. Have a great day.